Africa Investor Today is proudly brought to you in association with Petro SA and Afrexim Bank.
Good day and a warm welcome to Africa Investor Today, where we bring you all the African business news. I'm Zylan. We begin our bulletin with politics and economy. African leaders meeting in the Nigerian capital Abuja endorsed recommendations by a panel headed by former South African President Thabo Mbeki to end the 6-year conflict in Sudan's western region of Darfur. Among the proposals discussed by the African Union's 15-member Peace and Security Council yesterday is the creation of a special court made up of a local and international judges to try those accused of atrocities in Darfur, where the United Nations says as many as 300,000 people have died. The African leaders appointed Mbeki, as well as former President of Burundi Pierre Buyoya and former Nigerian military ruler Abdullah Salami Abubakar, to help implement the recommendations. They have 1 year to carry out their assignment. Despite campaign promises to only serve one term, Liberia's president has pondered running for office again in 2011. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, a Harvard-trained economist who turned 71 yesterday, has been a darling of the international community ever since her election in 2005, when she became Africa's first democratically elected female head of state. The Liberian leader acknowledged before the commission in February that she gave up to $10,000 to a rebel group headed by Charles Taylor, viewed by many as the chief architect of Liberia's back-to-back civil wars. But she said the money she spent and sent while an expatriate was meant for humanitarian services, and that she was never a member of his group. We'll take a short break. We'll be back after this.
Redefining energy means redefining life. At the Petroleum, Oil and Gas Corporation of South Africa, our commitment to greater innovation and greener fuels has made us pioneers in the field of gas-to-liquids technology. It has also earned us worldwide recognition for producing the cleanest fuels through environmentally friendly processes. That's how we've become the international leader in diesel technology. Through pure innovation, pure energy, pure brilliance.
On banking and finance, the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation yesterday admitted that defects on the part of regulation were partly responsible for the crisis in the banking sector. The Deputy Director Research, NDIC, Mr. John Afolabi, made this known last week in Kaduna at a workshop for financial correspondents and business editors. Specifically, he said as an institution, the NDIC carried out its mandate of banks' supervision, but the recommendations from the supervision were either neglected or the implementation delayed by officials within and outside the NDIC who should take actions on them. ABSA has set up a new 267.5 million rand funding initiative in partnership with 6 provincial government departments in a move which is expected to make a significant contribution to the growth of small businesses. ABSA Small Businesses' new funding initiative called SME Fund will provide a holistic financial solution to previously disadvantaged entrepreneurs who cannot access funding through traditional banking channels. Fazil Mkhize, the managing executive of ABSA Small Businesses, described the SME Fund as a public-private sector initiative, with ABSA partnering with 6 provincial departments in Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, the Northwest Free State, Northern Cape and Limpopo. Stay with us. We'll be back with news on companies and markets.
Afrexim Bank is Africa's leading trade finance bank, an organization dedicated to promoting African trade through credit, risk-bearing and advisory services. We pride ourselves on having local presence throughout the continent and are committed to extending our award-winning trade and project finance programs to unlock private sector development continent-wide. We invite you to become a part of our vision for a strong Africa in a changing world. If you trade within Africa, contact us to support you.
In companies and markets now, Kenya Airways recorded a 17% rise in pre-tax profit for its first half-year ended September to 1.2 billion Kenyan shillings. The airline attributed the rise to the favorable movement of fuel prices. Operating profit was 1.62 million shillings, 8% lower than the last year. The national carrier recorded a full-year loss in the year ended March 2009, the first time since 1996 on the back of fuel hedging. MTN has reported a modest 5% increase in subscriber numbers to 108,467 million, boosted by growth in most of its key markets. But its customer base in South Africa, where the national mobile penetration rate now exceeds 100%, took a dip mainly due to a new regulation requiring prepaid users to register personal details. It is believed the regulation, which came into effect in August, has proved too onerous for users, hence the reluctance by even existing users to comply. MTN admitted as much and said it has updated that customers in SA fell to 16.419 million, down from 17.231 million as of June, primarily as a result of implementation of the new regulation. We'll be back with infrastructure news. Stay with us.
Africa Investor, the leading African investment magazine, is essential reading for investors in Africa, filled with the very latest in Pan-African investment and finance news. In addition, log on to africa-investor.com to find out more about our exciting capital market, infrastructure and tourism events, and our long-standing investable Africa Investor 100 Index Series, which tracks over $600 billion of African equities. Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.
And finally, in infrastructure news now, Intel, one of the world's largest hardware providers, has described what it called inadequate access to information in Nigeria, saying this is a hindrance to the development of information technology in the country. Speaking at a press conference yesterday, David Abuo, the business development manager for West Africa of the company, said access to information in Nigeria is poor because some basic amenities are not available. He explained that as Intel and other major ICT players are working to improve communication and technology in the world, it is the goal of the firm that Africa is not left out from the Bureau of Technology. The Airports Company of South Africa says it is ready to open its new 5-story central terminal building at Cape Town International Airport on the 7th of November. Workers are putting the finishing touches to the building, which will see the international and domestic departures processed via a single point. The terminal boasts an array of retailers, fast food outlets and restaurants, as well as 120 check-in counters and a high-tech surveillance room, keeping an eye on the airport precinct via more than 1,000 CCTV cameras. It is but one of several construction projects undertaken at the airport since November 2006, with an overall price tag just over 2.3 billion rand. And with that, we wrap up today's bulletin. Do log on to our website at www.africa-investor.com for more news on these and others. Goodbye.
Africa Investor Today is proudly brought to you in association with Petro SA and Africa Bank.